In very basic terms, a civil engineer really solves problems. If a civil engineer's job is done really, really well, you turn on your tap water, clean water comes out, you drink it, you flush your toilet, it flushes, nothing backs up. It affects you whether you know it or not. The day you find out is when one of those things don't work. Very early in my life, my dad was working as a public administrator, and the building he worked for in Lagos, Nigeria, was the tallest building in the whole country at the time. And the first time I saw this building, I was shocked that somebody could build a building that tall and that it would stand. And that became, without me really knowing it, kind of planted the seeds of, I really one day want to be able to do buildings like that, all the way from their foundation to the rooftop. My goal was to build very tall structures like that Independence building. Well, I think God played a trick on me, because every single project I've been involved with as an engineer is underground where you don't see it. My title is Senior Group Manager for Stormwater. Our job really is to provide infrastructure that ranges from water supply, water mains, water pipelines, that takes the water to the house, and then you turn on your tap and good things happen. So a lot of these projects, we end up siting them in parks. There's one park in Pittsburgh where on top of it is a playground for kids, but right below it is a storage system. But people are playing, people are running around. They don't realize that what they are on top of is a very intricate feature that actually helps protect the environment for them. When I first moved here from Nigeria, was really in the early 80s, 1980, 81, and U.S. was in the throes of recession. My very first job was delivering pizza. But the job itself was a really great way to get to know people and be more familiar with the way U.S. culture worked. That was really very helpful for me. This is my first professional engineering license. This one was hard to get because by then my daughter was about 4 years old, and I would be studying, sitting on the dining room table, and she'd be climbing all around my back and trying to balance having kids to studying and taking exams. But it was intense, but well worth it. With that, you become a professional engineer, and then it means that you can actually stamp and seal plans, become responsible. Most people, when they first hear of Pittsburgh, a lot of times their mind immediately goes back to the early 1900s, maybe Pittsburgh of smokestacks and all that. And I think one of the issues Pittsburgh has always had is managing water. But even as those floodwaters were being controlled, the sewer system underneath, all of that were basically combined. The water you flush from your toilet and the water that runs off the street goes into the same pipe. As the rains continue to increase, the pipe can't handle all of that. That mixture ends up in the river, pollutes the river. I mean, lives are literally at stake. People die, and that's the part that is really should be frightening. It's no different from a brain surgeon or a neurosurgeon. If you do stuff wrong, you can mess up somebody's life basically for whatever is left of their life. The beauty of it is the average human being will live 70, 80 years old, never really need to know what engineering is or what it does. The spouses of a lot of civil engineers don't think it's fun because they think we're boring. I once threatened my wife that I was gonna go buy a pocket protector. This is Whiteman Park. The park was actually in bad shape. And so somebody decided that they were going to refurbish the park and do some park planning amenities. But in doing that, they actually partnered with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority to say, okay, are there ways you can use this park to do more than just a regular park, help with stormwater controls? And so what they did was actually go out of their way to plan something that would allow people to play, still be a playground, Well, underneath, each section of this has its own function. And it's one of those classic pieces that the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer and the city will be able to say, okay, this is a really signature part. It's a sense of a job well done. It's a sense of, man, I was used to do something that made sense. I contributed, no matter how small, something that made sense. Yeah, that is a huge feeling. I had an office downtown that was right by Point State Park where the three rivers come together. And I could do that walk in the morning, pretty much every morning before work starts. So I get there around 6:30, 6:15, 6:30, read, walk, and that's kind of a prayer walk. Just starting off fresh with a clean sheet of paper and kind of getting back in touch with God and saying, what is it you need me to do? In terms of project updates, just wanted to touch base. A lot of things that are foundational, like skyscrapers, where a lot of people don't realize it. Most skyscrapers have 60, 80 foot deep pile foundations that go down deeper, almost as deep as the skyscraper is tall. And so we just see that top part and we're like, wow, how can this stand? Well, there's something else going on underneath. So that's the foundational piece that I think we need to take care of. It's also the piece that's easily neglected because nobody else is seeing it. But if we're playing to an audience that we don't even see, right? Like God, if that's the audience we're playing to, then our care is the same with the foundation that regular people don't see as it is with the outside that people see. Most of the work that I did is really beneath the ground, beneath the surface. You don't see that. To me, that's part of what this idea of faith, what does my faith mean? You know, don't tell me what you believe, show me what you believe. When I come to my work with delight, when I come to even the simple tasks with delight, something happens where somebody in a rough meeting, everybody's pounding the table, yelling and screaming, and you don't join in. At the end of the day, somebody will ask you, what is it about you that you didn't get upset? I see this as a much bigger calling than just you and I trying to build a sewer here, or just you and I trying to design a park. I don't know that God really stresses over our specific vocation, the specific thing we do. I don't think God stresses whether you're a civil engineer or you're a plumber. I don't think that's the issue. The issue is, do you bring God into that? Do you see yourself as not just fixing pipes, but working to improve God's kingdom? At some level, we're not working because we absolutely have to do that job. There's a sense of, I'm enjoying this because not only am I doing the work, but I'm actually making something, I'm creating something. And God made order out of chaos and then tells you and I, go out there and make order out of chaos. So the work is me, you and I, us together bringing order out of chaos. We look at something that's chaotic, we say it shouldn't be this way.